Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Celebrate Columbus Show, powered by Johnson Whitkemper Insurance Services. My name is Josh Burnett. As you can see, we've got a great guest with us today. He is ready. He's always prepared, right?
That's right.
And it's raining outside, but it's not going to stop us from having a great conversation today. I'm here with Mark Wilson, and we're going to be talking about scouting today, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that some people might know a little bit about Scouts over the years, and maybe they're even seeing and recognizing you, but could you tell us a little bit about you and what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. I've lived in Columbus all my life. I've been a Scout leader for about 30 years. When my oldest son became a Scout, I became a Scout leader, and I've held many positions over the years as my three boys went through Scouts. I currently sit on the board of the Hoosier Trails Council. And the council serves 18 counties here in south central Indiana. It's about 2,600 scouts, 300 really dedicated volunteer leaders. We're just going to talk a little bit about today about what scouting is, what the kids get out of it, what the community gets out of it, and how maybe the community can get more involved.
Awesome. So Mark, I've heard that there's a recent name change with scouting. I wanted to say Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, but it's more than just that.
Right.
Could you talk a little bit about the name change and what's going on with Scouts?
Sure. I'm here to talk about what most people probably know about Boy Scouts as Boy Scouts. It's a separate organization from Girl Scouts. And it used to be called the Boy Scouts of America. And because it is now entirely a co-ed program, they decided to change the name to Scouting America to reflect that. It's kind of a hard change for us that have been involved. I was a Scout as a youth, so it's hard. I may slip up here today and call it the wrong name.
So I know, I'm raising 3 kids, and you've raised kids here in Columbus, and I think it's great for kids to be involved in activities that have great mentors and adults that are investing in their lives. I know that's synonymous with Scouts. So could you talk a little bit about the benefit for the youth today and some of the things you think are important for people to know about Scouts?
Sure. I'd like to start by saying Scouting has a very serious side and a very fun side. And the serious side is our mission, what we're actually trying to accomplish in the long run. And it's so important that I'd like to recite it.
Yeah, go for it.
So the mission of the Scouting America is to prepare young people to make moral and ethical decisions over their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. Okay, what are the Scout Oath and Law? Glad you asked, Josh.
Yeah.
So some people have probably heard this, maybe some haven't, so I'm actually going to recite it. The Scout Oath is, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And the Scout Law is, a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And sometimes in good humor, Scouts will say, hungry.
Wow, that's impressive.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what everything around Scouting is really looking for the long game. Mm-hmm. And Robert Baden-Powell, the founder of Worldwide Scouting, said Scouting is a game with a purpose. Kids want to have fun, right? Their eyes will roll back in the back of their heads if you say you want to join an organization that'll help you develop character, right?
Maybe a little over their head.
A little bit over their head,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a game. So we try to make fun out of it, or fun with it. So how do kids benefit when they're in Scouting? Well, first of all, it's fun, and it's fun not only for the Scout, but it's fun for their family. Mm-hmm. Scouting is something that actually parents can do with their kids. They don't watch them, but they can do it with them. And actually, that's a really key tenet in Scouting. The program, kids can join as young as kindergarten, and depending on the program, they can stay until they're 21.
Wow.
So everything has to be age appropriate because there's big growth during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And all the activities that are fun are really designed to promote character and citizenship development, as well as physical and mental fitness. So that's what what the kids get out of it. So you say, well, okay, that's great, but communities also benefit from a really strong scouting program. So the first thing is scouts, especially those scouts that stick with it, right? They develop into strong, capable adults. They're well-rounded. They've done a lot of things. Scouts learn how to be good leaders and good citizens. And I think that's something that we can all agree is important. And then finally, a real tangible benefit is that scouts do volunteer work. I mean, these scouts in our council do thousands of hours of community service every year to help. So, scouting in America was established in 1910. And although the programs changed over the years to be modernized and adapt to things, the timeless values that are laid out in that Scout Oath and Law that I recited remain unchanged and still guide the organization today. As a matter of fact, I was teaching a merit badge class on Saturday. I was teaching the kids about safety. It was a safety merit badge. And I kind of was able to take one of the requirements and just work it back and say, guys, if you just always behave in accordance with the Scout Oath and Law, it's gonna take care of this problem. So I was able to tie it back to the values. One of the big reasons that I remain involved in scouting as a leader is because I saw what it did for my boys, and I've seen what it's done for many youth today. It's remarkable the transformation that they go through, and I know a lot of it's just because they're growing up. But when they're doing these things and having fun and being infused with these values, it's just remarkable to watch. And so I stay involved because A, it's fun for me, and B, I want to kind of give back to the community and to scouting because it helped my wife and I reinforce the values that we were trying to teach at home. And given all the challenges in today's society, all the challenges that the kids face and all the challenges in society, I'm a strong believer that the scouting program is more important today than it's ever been.
Yeah, you talked about character, you talk about citizenship, morals, values, and really, people that are involved in the Scouts program that I've known, that I grew up with. I mean, there's some of the best people around. They're making a difference in communities. I think about two of my cousins that are Eagle Scouts,
right,
and the projects as well as the development that they went through. And it was, just like you said, with their family. It wasn't them doing it on their own. Right. It was a family thing. And it really made a big difference in their lives.
Right. And I think that's one of the good things about allowing, girls into Cub Scouts now, because in a lot of cases, the girls were at the meetings anyway. Right. And so why not let them actually actively participate and make it even more inclusive? So it's been a good thing.
So Mark, something that I know about Scouts is, you can start when you're very young, or you can start a little bit later.
Right.
But, say somebody's watching this, listening, and they're like, hey, I want to learn more about this opportunity for my children. How do they, tell me a little bit more about the particulars.
Okay. So there's basically 4 programs for Scouts. They start young at Cub Scouts, so they can start when they're in kindergarten. I have a grandson that started in Scouts this year.
Awesome.
I was really excited about that. And that goes through 5th grade. And that's really family focused, right? And so they do a lot of family activities and so forth. Then there's Scouts BSA, which is formerly known as Boy Scouts. Okay, they're in troops. And there's usually boy troops and girl troops. They might work together, but that's ages 11 through 18. And unlike Cub Scouts, this is where the leadership starts to develop, because the youth do their leadership, and that's one of the great things. It's a safe place to learn, right? So there's adult mentors there. They teach them how, train them, and so forth. And then and so really during this time, their focus is on personal growth of the Scout through service, doing merit badges, advancement. You mentioned the Eagle Scout. There's ranks up that lead up to that. Only little fun fact: only 5% of the kids that join Scouts end up being Eagle Scouts. So
wow!
It's a lot of work.
Well, shout out to my cousins for that. That's a big deal,
good, right? And then also outdoor activities, so a lot of camping, and then there's opportunity. The Scouting America has 4 national high adventure bases. It's a pinnacle of outdoor experiences. And then there's also venturing, which is for kids between 13 and 20.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Boy Scout troop, but there's just more emphasis on high adventure, and it's co-ed.
Okay.
And then finally, there's what's called exploring, and it's very similar to venturing, except the focus on that is it's vocation based.
Oh, nice.
So there might be like a law enforcement post that or a healthcare type of post. So as you get those 2 units, there's not as many of them, but there is a niche for that.
Well, Mark, I feel like I've learned a lot. I hope that other people have learned as well about things that are going on right here in our community and our kids can be involved in. Say, someone would like to help or learn more about this. How can we get more involved?
Okay, so some ideas. First of all, just encourage youth to join Scouts. I mean, just be inquisitive about it and encourage. If you've got kids of your own, check it out. If you've got a neighbor that maybe is of Scout age, ask them if they had ever thought about Scouting, just to kind of reinforce it. You can, and if you join, your kids join, you can be a leader. And you can be a leader without even, we have a lot of Scoutmasters who don't have kids in the program anymore. They're just that dedicated to the program. Another easy thing to do is register to be a merit badge counselor. So that's each merit badge that a Scout earns has to be signed off by somebody who's knowledgeable in the topic. So if you have a hobby that you are passionate about and want to teach kids about that hobby, or something about your career, or some special knowledge that you have, that's a great way to get to see the program and help out. When the Scouts come around and they're knocking on your door and want to sell popcorn, buy the popcorn. But just as importantly, interact with them. And if they're not, kind of coach them through the process. Some of these kids are really shy, and it's a big deal to knock on a door and talk to a stranger. And the more you can engage them, that's a big help. And that's what kind of this adult association is all about. And then finally, another thing is, community, or if you're a member of a community organization, those community organizations can sponsor a unit, and that's a way to get one going. So that would be very helpful. And I'll talk about in just a minute about an upcoming event where folks can provide some financial support, because we are self-supporting.
So for those who maybe are getting reacquainted with Scouting, or this is their first time hearing about it, and they want to take a next step to be involved, are there anything upcoming that maybe they could be a part of and learn more?
Sure, glad you asked. On April the 30th of this year, we're having our we do this annually, a Friends of Scouting breakfast. It's going to be on April the 30th. It'll be 7:30. We keep it in an hour. We know people are busy, so we want people in and out. We'll give you a really good free breakfast. It's at the BCSC admin building. And that's a good opportunity to hear more about Scouting. And so Randy Saunders, who is our new Scout executive, he'll be able to elaborate on some of the really great things going on in our council. We've got a really healthy council. And then Mary Fredon's also going to say a few words.
The mayor's going to be there?
The mayor's going to be there. She and her husband, Steve, have 2 boys that are Eagle Scouts. Mary's and Steve are big proponents of the program, so we're delighted that she's willing to share her enthusiasm. And then we'll have some Scouts say a few things about what Scouting means to them. And it is an opportunity for us to raise funds, as well as an opportunity for the community to learn more about Scouting. And so we are still looking for event sponsors. If you're a business owner and you'd like to lend your financial support to Scouting, or even if you're an individual and like to offer a sponsorship, that would be wonderful. But otherwise, you can just attend, and we'll give you a breakfast, and we'll ask you to maybe, if you're willing to give a donation to support the cause. But you can register for that. you can just send me an email. My email address is m.l.wilson@comcast.net.
Perfect. We'll put that up there. And, I think that one of the goals of Celebrate Columbus is to introduce our community to people that are doing great things. And I appreciate all that you're doing with scouting. And I think that it's important, as we get more and more digital in our world, that we have things like Scouts available where kids can be outdoors. They're working with trusted adults. They're working on their character, not just on their computers,
On their phones or
Yeah.
computers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get a kid out in the wilderness, without that phone, and it can be life-changing.
Yeah, and they make so much growth as people, and then they become better citizens, right?
Right, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to make this happen and all the things that you do for Columbus.